This is the Spiritual Bacon Podcast. My name is Casey, and this is episode 4. Lonely Awakenings and the Cost of Becoming Who You Are. About halfway through my time at home, after the hospital, after the surgery, after everything that cracked me wide open, I started digging deeper into spirituality. Not the surface stuff, I mean really digging. Spiritual awakenings, near-death experiences, the whole thing. And I was fired up, like electric, buzzing. I wanted to tell everyone, anyone who would listen. I'd start talking about this stuff with people, thinking they'd be just as lit up as I was, excited as I was. But the truth? Most people gave me that look. You know the one. That, oh, you've lost it look. Trying to be polite, but you feel it. The subtle disconnect. It wasn't clicking for them, and I could not only see it, I could feel it in my gut. I couldn't believe it. Here I was, finally discovering who I really was, finally seeing the world what it really was, and all I wanted to do was share that light, help others see who they really are. But I never even got close to saying everything I wanted to say. People I called friends started pulling away. I don't know how many stopped talking to me. Online, in person, all of it. That loneliness, that same feeling I've carried my whole life, it came roaring back. And yeah, I had family, amazing family, but that deep ache, that hole inside where connection should live, that was still there. And now, the few people I thought might stand with me were quietly stepping away. I had finally found my why. I had finally found my how. I was ready to embrace my weird, and that's when I realized not many people, if any, were going to walk this road with me. My girlfriend at the time, man, she was incredible. She'd at least hear me out for the most part. It definitely wasn't her jam, not her world, but she stayed. She helped me through it. Still, even she would gently say, maybe don't say that, or, I don't know about that one. She was my rock during a really difficult time. I know I wasn't easy to deal with. I know I was a bit of an ass. I hope she knows how grateful I am. I have no hard feelings, none. After a while, though, I could tell she was pulling away too. Not out of malice, just life. We didn't split for a couple more years. We grew apart. She had amazing kids, almost done with school, and I still hope to have one of my own. She was open about not wanting more kids, and I respected that. She was honest, that's really all I could ask. I still held out hope. But man, the long distance was brutal. I was on disability, scraping by on $900 a month. She was a single mom with little support. Seeing each other was a challenge. The last time I flew out there, she took me on a tour of the Broncos Stadium. We toured it together. And somehow in our group, there was more Chiefs fans than Broncos fans. When we got in the elevator and they were kind of stuck, I had to ask, are you real Chief fans? Are you like Fairweather or bandwagon now that you guys finally don't suck? Watching them squirm was great. But they were really cool, more diehard. It was a great time, a core memory I'll never forget. But as I held on to that relationship and the one slipping away, I found myself dimming my light just to make others comfortable. And damn, that was a hard realization. I wanted so badly to find a community, people who got it, people who saw me. I'd read about this in NDE research in the spiritual awakenings. This wasn't uncommon, and even though it hurt, I knew the truth. To make room for the new, some of the old had to go. It's like the circle of life. And at this point, my home healthcare nurse and physical therapist had stopped showing up. So changing my colostomy bag, doing physical therapy, all that was all on me now. I became a well-oiled machine, exercising, cleaning, managing it all. I learned that if I was careful, my colostomy bag would last for a week. But it had to be perfect. The supplies, those were thousands of dollars. I couldn't believe the numbers on the receipts when the packages would arrive. Thousands of dollars just so I could poop. Yeah. I got a new appreciation for pooping. Pooping became a luxury. Every supply had to be approved by insurance. No extras. No backups. If you messed up, that was it. I didn't think about that kind of stuff. Not until I was standing in the shower, wrapped in saran wrap and waterproof tape, just praying that nothing leaks. And then, one day, it did leak. Not because of the shower. I woke up and I'd done something in my sleep. Normally that wouldn't be a big deal. The home healthcare nurses had hooked me up with a bunch of extra supplies, but I was out. And I was having an issue with the insurance. I don't even remember what went wrong. All I know is my supplies were delayed. I had to stretch that one bag to 9 or 10 days. That's when the leak started. A tiny crack. Poop started to push out the side. And there wasn't a damn thing I could do. Once I finally got the new supplies and started changing the bag, that's when I saw it. It looked like my stomach had torn, and more of my colon was coming out the side. After freaking out for a few minutes, I couldn't figure it out. I grabbed my mom, and she looked in it, and we jumped in the car and headed to the ER. Nothing covering my colon. I just had a medical pad. It was like a puppy pee pad, holding it under the colon. And, well, I mean, you don't have any control. It just does what it wants. If it's going to poop, it's going to poop. You might get a little rumble in your tummy, but you have no control. So we're flying down the freeway. Every bump, a roll of the dice. Somehow we made it without accident. The ER was packed. Broken bones. All sorts of wild stuff. And me pooping on myself, it wasn't a priority. So I just sat there, pressing that puppy pee pad against me as hard as I could without hurting myself, hoping I wouldn't explode in the waiting room. Once they finally got me back, got an IV, did a couple tests. Turns out it wasn't a tear. It was an acid burn from the leak. Thank God. So once we figured that out, I asked for the supplies to cover my colon so we could head home. They didn't have the supplies. They came back a couple times with like 2 of 10 required things. Turns out it's not something the ER commonly deals with. So I had my mom call the wound care nurse, the one that woke me up initially. She had given us her number just in case anything went wrong. So I asked my mom to call her. The only problem was I didn't realize how frustrated my mom was. The whole situation had her running a little hot. And she left that nurse a voicemail, tearing her head off. She went full Captain Blood to the only person I knew who could help us. I was so upset. And when the ER staff came back again without the right supplies, I knew I had to do it myself. So we asked to leave, checked out quickly, and back down the freeway we went. Puppy pee pad in hand, colon still exposed. Second round of high stakes driving. Somehow, we made it to the ER and back without an accident. I got home and got the bag on, but I knew something wasn't right. I knew the instructions the doctor had given me weren't right. He wanted me to put some ointment on the burn and then just put the adhesive on it. And everything inside of me, my intuition just screaming, no. No, 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 no. It just felt like a terrible idea. And next day when the wound care nurse called back, she confirmed it. I was right. She wanted us to meet her at wound care. I had no idea wound care was even a thing. Part of the hospital. I had no idea. And once she saw it at the wound care, she said it needed to be cauterized every few days. So she gave me some detailed instructions, 4 different materials cut perfectly to protect the burn so it could heal. It made every bag change a nightmare. Trying to hold those stack of 4 materials on there with ointment and get that adhesive ring on, it was wild. But I got it done. Just in time, too. My pre-surgery appointment was coming up. Thankfully, when I first got home from the hospital, my mom called and scheduled the pre-surgery appointment 6 months ahead so we didn't have to wait. And when we got there and started talking to the doctors, the first available date, right before my birthday. I was going to have to get surgery and stay in the hospital where all this crazy shit happened a few months before over my birthday. I didn't care. I was ready. I was willing to spend my birthday in the hospital to get my ostomy reversed. I wasn't going to push it back. I was ready. And I can't believe I'm saying this after everything that's already happened. Shit was about to get even crazier.